Hi everyone, welcome to Midlife Christie. This channel is meant to share with you how I budget my and my partner's paychecks multiple times a month while also paying off debt and then to save for our home. If you're watching this, then thank you for stopping by for my first ever video. I've wanted to start this channel for a really long time, but honestly, I've been very nervous to put myself out there. There's quite a few budgeters that I follow, some cashless and mostly cash stuffers, and I absolutely adore their content. We are cashless budgeters. We use our Delta Sky Miles card for the miles, so hopefully we can use them to go somewhere fun in the future. We follow a zero-based budget, and if you don't know what that is, it's just basically where every dollar has a job. My partner and I have different pay periods. He's paid bi-weekly, I'm paid bi-monthly. So we have fixed expenses versus variable expenses split up in a way that works out pretty good for us. I will show you what we do, and hopefully you can take something from it. Thanks for hanging out with me for the first time and for hanging out with me to get October set up. Let's get started. So first off, what I'm going to tell you is that I use right now this Erin Condren monthly planner. I liked it a lot because then I was able to basically gave you the year at a glance, also the month, and then it was just blank sheets after that so that you could, do your budget just as you wanted to, basically. So we'll go to October. It's not decorated yet. I only filled in one rent, which we'll just go ahead and check that off. It's paid. But I will decorate this and it'll be off camera just because that takes a while. So the first thing that I like to do at the beginning of the month is I like to put down all my bills. This right here, I show myself that the first pay period so when I said that I get paid bi-monthly, I get paid based off of a pay period from the 1st until the 15th. And then I get paid on the 22nd, and then the 16th through either the 30th or the 31st or whatever the end of the month is. And then on the 7th, and that reflects this one from September of every month. So I get paid on the 7th and the 22nd. My partner, he gets paid bi-weekly, and so his will show up every other Friday. The next thing that I like to do is I will go in and I have all of my bills written right here on this laminated inside of the cover from the planner. My bills, the way that we ended up setting it up is that my paychecks on the 7th and the 22nd will cover all of our fixed expenses, and then my partners will cover all of our variable expenses like groceries and gas and our spending and any savings or anything like that. Typically, we both have money after everything is accounted for, and that usually will go into sinking funds or a savings account or like a bucket, however you want to call it. So first, I'll go ahead and write these down. So on the first, we have the rent, as well as T-Mobile, and that should be coming out here in the next couple days. After T-Mobile, sometimes because I didn't write down the date that they come out, I have to go back to the next one. So rent and T-Mobile, and then we have, story about this RAV4. We basically emptied our savings and just paid it off. There was $9,000 and some change on it. So we took it all out and paid it off. And I'll have to show you that when I sit down and redo all of my sinking funds. So that no longer is there. So that's an extra $254 a month that we can save or put towards a debt. So then it looks like we have Netflix on the 5th. My handwriting is not going to be good, I can tell. Jake's Vasa, that's our gym. You can't do it as a family plan. They're all individual. So this is his. And we have our car wash. And that comes out on the 7th. Then we have truck, and then the camper and HBO. And then we go to the 18th, which is where we have my gym membership and then Experian so that I can watch my credit. The 20th, this is an IRA that I started years ago, and only about 150 goes into it. I mean, I guess something is better than nothing. And then Dominion is our gas. But I contribute to my employer's, 403B or 401A or whatever the numbers and the letters are for that. So I contribute to something as well as 150 to that. Just right now, we're not in a position to really amp that up quite yet, but eventually I'd like to. This is for Disney Plus. And then we have our Apple family shared account or for music and all that fun stuff. And then Rocky Mountain Power is our electric. All of our other utilities are paid through our apartment or our townhome, whichever you want to call it. I'll use this if I need to note anything special that's happening this month. But other than that, the next thing I do, and I just go through also really quick, I go back to my first page and I make sure I have everything. So I have rent, truck, camper, HBO, Vasa, IRA, Dominion, car wash, and Experian, and then T-Mobile, the other Vasa, Netflix is on there, Apple, Rocky Mountain Power, and Disney. So what I will show you is that I split up our rent payment into two because I have heavier bills that fall for the paycheck that I get on the 7th. I have heavier bills, the truck and the camper. So I do less rent here and then I do a higher rent here. That way I'm not using every single dollar I have for each paycheck. And that comes out to about $19.15 for the first paycheck of the month on the 7th, and then $16.71 after I took off the RAV4 for the 22nd. It was pretty equal when I had the RAV4 on there, which was $254, but it's not there anymore. So now we're down to $16.71. Okay, and then the next thing I have, it does give you this really nice dashboard so that you can have goals. I don't really go by whatever these are. Normally, I just write down things that I need to remember. So first and foremost, the first goal is start building back sinking funds. And an important project, one thing that I'm actually really sad about, we actually have no consumer debt. Well, I guess technically we do here now. The only debts that we honestly have are, well, Costco. And because when I went and emptied out all of our savings, I magically, after paying off the RAV4, still had a good chunk of money. And I was like, oh, what's this money go to? I don't know. Woo, we got this extra money. Turns out I forgot to pay the Costco bill. And we were planning on moving, and we had bought a new dining table because it went drastically on sale from like $7.99 or $6.99 to $3.50, and it was the last one, and so we bought it. And so the bulk of that trip was the table as well as just some regular groceries. And then turns out I forgot to pay it. So now I need to make sure I add Costco on as a bill somehow, even though I usually take it out of my grocery budget. So that was kind of a bummer. Actually found that out today when we went to Costco for our monthly little trip and still had all of that on there. Then the next thing I like to do is I come over here and I do an October overview. This is where I write all of the bills down that are right here. I add those up, as well as I put down projected sinking funds, things that I know that we need to save for, and then just our regular stuff. So we have an idea, and I put down our projected income as well, what we're hoping to get, which shouldn't be a big deal because we didn't miss any work days or anything. Usually I like to decorate this as well, but this is my first video and I got to do it a little bit faster than what I usually would take to do it by myself. So first thing I'll do here is I'll do income. So Christy and Jake. I am an OR nurse. I work in the OR. I've been in the OR for 8 years, I think, and I did floor nursing before that, and I absolutely love the OR. It's so great. I don't think I would change anything for what I do. I absolutely love it. So, for me, for the month, how do I want to write this? Well, I know that I'm only getting twice and he's getting paid twice. So I'm just going to say the first and the second. So I get, and this is underestimating probably a little bit, but I know that at the lowest I'm going to get is 2,200, and I know I'm probably going to get the same thing about here. Jake, Jake is, I think he just got a bump in his hourly, and so he works for the government, and so they just got like their yearly increase. And I don't want to bump this up yet. So I think I'm just going to leave it at about 1,400. The reason why it's 1,400 is Jake has two kiddos from his previous marriage that he pays child support on. And so that's with the child support already deducted from that. So yeah. So this gives us 3,600, 3,600, which is 7,200. Sorry, I had to grab my calculator because I didn't have it. And if you guys have to watch me do math in my head, oh, I'm so sorry. You're going to be here a minute. Even the simplest stuff. I don't know why my brain just can't add simple numbers. There's not even, it's all zeros and it's, oh, it's awful. I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. So, okay. So then we go to fixed expenses. So we have rent. Rent, I usually just round up to 2,200. It just makes it easier for me. Usually comes out to 2,180 or 2,175. It just depends on these apartment and like the sewer and the trash and all that stuff, water, and then whatever their like care and maintenance charges are. So I usually just round up to 2,200. The next thing after that, oh, T-Mobile. Jake and I are on the same plan, and our T-Mobile is $157. We haven't looked to find anything else, and to be honest, the reason why is because he loves his baseball, and they offer MLB with his T-Mobile for free. So that's why we keep that one. I don't know if it's cheaper on other plans. Yeah, that could be something we looked at, but it's something that he enjoys, and it's really not going to be that much different with another company. Then we have a Netflix. That's about 23. We have his Vasa, and that comes out, I round everything up. And if I have a couple extra dollars, then I have a couple extra dollars, and that goes into like a cute little savings challenge or whatever. And I can get into those later. I only do 2, and I told you that I'm cashless, so I came up with a way to have savings challenges, but just not with cash. It's just money that sits on a piece of paper, but in our high yield savings account after I obviously transfer it over. We have high yield savings account with Marcus, which is Goldman and Sachs, but we have a pretty, it's pretty equal to what other people use, which is I forget the name that everyone else uses. Ally, I believe. A lot of people like to use Ally, but I just started one with Marcus, and that's just who I've gone with, or Goldman Sachs, but it's the bank is called Marcus that has the high yield savings account. Vasa, and then we have the car wash, which is unlimited washes for $22 a month. I don't think that's bad, considering Jake really loves to wash his truck. And you should take care of the things, especially when you're paying as much as you do for them. And that payment is $486. The camper. I originally bought this camper before I met Jake. I was going to be a travel nurse in the OR. I did end up traveling, but not the way that I was planning on. I actually bought this camper because I was going to take the camper, me and my 2 cats, and I was just going to, explore the countryside and, East Coast, West Coast, wherever, North, South, no matter. And then he came along and swept me off my feet. But then I still ended up traveling. And that's a whole other story. Talk about Midlife Christie / midlife crisis. But that's a story for another day. If anyone is interested, let me know. And I can tell that story because it's kind of a tough one. But I bought this camper basically when I had my little Tacoma. And then I didn't travel. And so we had it. And so we started using it. And we kicked around so many times selling it. Yes, it's a debt, but we have so much fun. Even when we just go somewhere, it could seriously only be 30 minutes away. It's just different when you are camping and you're not at home and you don't have to worry about things at home. And unfortunately, yes, camping does cost money, not only because we have to pay for the trailer, but also because camping is expensive. Gas for the truck, groceries, if there's any activities we want to do, if we end up going and eating out, it's expensive, but we love doing it. And I don't know if we'll sell it eventually or if we'll just keep it and run it into the ground. And we can get on to how much we owe on these later on and what the plan is to get them paid off. Next is Vasa for me, and mine is, I just forgot. Let's go back to the front. 20. I think it's really like 18.22, but again, I like to round up. I'd rather make sure that I have enough planned out than not. So there's Vasa. Syrian. That's $6. The IRA is $150. Now, here's where I kind of make a guessing game with my gas and my energy, because we all know that gas is cheaper in the summer and more expensive in the winter, and vice versa, exact opposite for electric. So for Dominion, right now, since we still haven't had to use the heater, I'm going to say, I'm going to go with 30. I think that the last one was like 15. Yeah, it was like 15. But I can't think of anything that we would have, I mean, just hot showers, but well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. If I don't need it, I don't need it. That's fine. Next is Disney. We did bump down our subscriptions. Oh, I forgot HBO. We'll put HBO. It's fine. HBO can go here. It's just not in line. We bumped down, not Netflix, because we wanted to be able to watch them on multiple screens, and so unfortunately you have to pay more for that. But for these two, we did bump them down to where you have to watch ads, because we were like, what? Who cares? Jake and I watched ads as kids. We didn't die. Now, the kids are the ones that complain because the ads come on and they can't skip them. And it's like, well, now you see what we did back in the 90s, 80s, 90s. Let's not talk about it. Again, Midlife Christie. Here we are. HBO. Oh, what is HBO? I think it's 10. HBO is 10. All right, Apple, 28. And then Rocky Mountain Power, I think, 1 second. I think we might just keep that at like 90. It was 94.54. So I'm just going to estimate for 100. I hope it's not that high, but it is what it is. I think that's everything. Yes. So let's go ahead and add that up. 35.91. I actually don't know why I broke it down that way, because I still have to basically just take it out. I mean, I guess it just gives an overall picture. This will just at least after I'm done. So basically 35.91 comes out of my 2,200 times to my 4,400, I guess. 3591. So after, I should have about $809 that can go to debt. Absolutely 100% for sure can go to debt. That's just where it should go. So let's do his variables. Enough room here? I think I do. Variable expenses. Okay, so we have groceries. I think that we probably do just to cover Costco. I think we should do 450. 450 and 450 is 900. So let's say 900. Whoop, whoop, spell. Gas, I think that we've been doing pretty well. We started switching off. He drives a F-150 and I drive now. I sold the Tacoma and got a RAV4, so hybrid. And so it does great on gas. And I want to say that we switch off because I take the train a lot. We live in Utah and I live north of Salt Lake, and I actually get free public transportation, and we have a train like a um, for people who commute, like a commuter train, all the way from up where I live down to mid Salt Lake, and then I take the bus from there, and that's like a 20-minute bus ride, usually, unless it's running late. And that happens, and it's unfortunate. But I don't have to pay for gas. I don't have to deal with drivers, and I'm totally fine with that because I don't get road rage enough where I'm going to hurt someone, but I just don't want the added stress. Not only that, but riding the train gives me time to do something for me. I can mindlessly scroll if I want to. I read. Um, I watch YouTubes. I watch all my other budgeters that, I would like to talk about on here once everything gets going, and just be able to give shout outs to them and like who gave me the inspiration when I originally started budgeting, and who I love to watch now just because their voice makes me happy, or just I love watching, I love their aesthetic, the way that they have things set up. Oh, I didn't even light my candle. Look at my little guy. It's Halloween, so I got my bleeding candle, my bleeding skulls. Um, but the train is nice because I don't have to think about anything. Um, I haven't fallen asleep yet, which is good because I'm scared that if I were to fall asleep, um, I'd miss my stop, and that would really be bad. So back to tangent, I guess, over. Um, Gas, because I will take the truck on the days that I take the train. That way we save on gas that way. And he just drives the RAV4 because it does better on gas. So I want to say, hmm, I think per paycheck, because this is a new thing that we've been trying. So we're like trying to see like what balances out where he usually spends about 100 every 2 weeks for the truck. So that's 200, and then I think it's really only like 45 to fill up the car, which is 290. And I don't think we even need that much. So I think that I'm going to do 125, so 250. And obviously this would be, I mean, really, I was going to talk about the magic month where, if you're biweekly, sometimes you get a third paycheck, which to me, a magic month has never been an accurate thing because you still need that money for the bills that are coming after it. But um, I digress. People have figured out how to do it, and I could see how they did it. But for us, it doesn't work that way because all of our bills are paid from my paycheck. So with his, we don't really get a magic month because his just goes towards paying every 2 weeks our variable expenses. So I think we can get away with 250, and we'll adjust, I guess, the next time. But we just don't have to fill up the truck as much as we used to. So that's really nice because he was driving it to the gym, and then he was driving it home, and then to work, and then home, and then so he was using gas a lot faster. And then like going and picking up the kids, like the RAV4 is definitely just better for him to have that. So that's gas. Um, what's the rest? Oh, eating out. That. That one sucks because feel like I think we're gonna do, let's do 250 for that one. That's 125. And then we have his, he gets 75. Mine, we'll do 75. And then his two kiddos, I think I mentioned, yeah, his kids, he has a 9 and a 7-year-old. The oldest is a boy and the youngest is a girl. And they're mostly only here every 2 weeks. But when they are here, we give them just a little bit of chores. Like the boys, which I don't plan on saying their name on this channel because that's not my information to share. So I will not be sharing their name. So if I say the boy or Big C, then obviously that's the boy, and then the girl is her. So we have him take the trash out when he's here, and that's his chore. And she makes one of the biggest messes in their room, and it's always, majority of the time, her. So her chore is to make sure her room is cleared up and all of her toys are put away because she makes a mess. She's 7. Um, so yeah, so we put the kids on here. And then for that, they get, I just put their combined, so it's like 15 a piece, but I do 30. And basically what I do is if they don't spend it, it just goes into like a little savings account. And then if they get to the point where there's something that they want that does cost a lot of money, then it just comes out of there. We also had, before we emptied everything to pay off the RAV4, we did have a kids spending, and that was for us to like go and do fun stuff with the kids and everything like that. And we'll build that back up. But for now, like this is just their spending money. So if they want like a treat, then they can take it out of their, but we tell them it's coming out of their money. So we give them the option. I'm really trying to instill the savings, and because I don't want them to be at this point where the mentality is that they can just buy or they get whatever they want whenever they want it. Not sure how it is on the other side, if that's the case, but I just know what I'm trying to do over here at our house. So chores are done, they get the money, they can spend their money on treats, but then they don't have money saved up if there's a toy or something that they want. And then we have my precious baby boy Chuck. He's my 16-year-old cat. I had him and his brother. His brother, unfortunately, passed away last year on Christmas Eve. So that was pretty tough Christmas. I had them since they were 8 weeks old after they could leave their mom. And they're both diabetic. So they both got shots twice a day. Chuck obviously still does. Bert does not because he's not here. But I have to get him insulin. I have to pay for insulin. I have to pay for needles. Obviously, any other stuff that I have to pay for him. So he basically has his own budget as well because he costs so much. More so with the insulin, but it is what it is. So he will also get 30 just because his insulin, I'm not going to tell you how much his insulin costs. We'll just save that for another day. You'll probably see it if I do any transactions. Okay, so, and I did not do these correctly. So, and I don't have whiteout because again, there's a very curious 7-year-old who found my whiteout and didn't know how to use it, and it died. So let's fix this. So this is 150. This is 150. This is 60. And this is 60. Let's try that again. That is 1820. So this is fixed. This is variable. That still leaves us with $1,789 to do stuff with. Guys, I'm blown away. Um, is that real? Is that for real, for real? 7,200 minus 3,591 for fixed minus 1,820 is 1,789. I mean, 800 comes from that. So, I mean, and obviously it's going to look different when, oh, yeah, it's going to look different when, obviously, when I do it. But see, because then that's, oh, still $980. That is fantastic. Okay, so I showed you our October overview. I showed you this. This will go into sinking funds. I think I'm going to do a separate video because this one is getting kind of long for my first video. Obviously, need to learn how to speed it up, which I probably could edit this and speed it up in the video or in when I edit my video. But for right now, I think I'll leave it here. And I just wanted to give you an idea of what we do. And I will go over all my sinking funds and how we will get everything back to where we needed. Because we did have a lot of money set aside. I can actually show it to you right now. Let's see. 1 second, please. Okay, so this is what we did have. So first off, I made this sinking funds tracker. I also have new budget sheets ready. I decided to make my own. They are more personalized. They're going to be faster to be able to do my budget every month. I made them all. They're gorgeous. Tables and all that pretty stuff. But I also made these to go with it. That way I can do it all and I can see the balances of all of them. We had all of this saved. I had the RAV4 registration for next year. I had the truck registration already for next year, the RV registration for next year, everything. I had everything done. And the only thing that we saved are the circled things. So Delta, yes, Delta has a $350 fee every year. So basically, I guess, depending on how you want to look at it, yeah, we are paying them $350 and getting a companion ticket, but at the same time, we're still getting a whole other ticket paid for with miles. So, I mean, I guess it just depends on how you want to look at it. I see it as beneficial, helps my credit, gets us miles that we can use not only towards airlines, but towards other stuff. So that's fine. So we kept the Delta because that is due in December and I didn't want to have to build $350 back up, which we were only at $178 anyway. But we had all of those saved up. The emergency fund did go as well. Because honestly, if all else fails, the emergency fund, we can use a credit card. I don't want to, but if we have an emergency, that's what we would do. And depending on the emergency, we don't have a house. We don't have to worry about things breaking in the house. Vehicles, yes. We take really good care of our vehicles. I know that doesn't mean much, but they are both low mileage vehicles. And so we're not like super worried about that right now. We will be. That'll be built back up. We also saved Chuck's fund because insulin, cat litter, food, all that stuff. Camping, we only had 100 in there, so we kept that one. And Christmas, obviously, Christmas was already funded at $1,000. And well, we did buy one little Christmas gift already, so we're at 981. And Christmas is so close, and we did not want to have to worry about saving that back up. So those are the only ones we kept. So those are those sheets. But yeah, so I will do the sinking funds later. I think, I want to be able to figure that out. That way you're not hearing me with a lot of, and ooh and whatever sounds I tend to make when I'm trying to do math, which is not very appealing. Um, but if you stuck with me for this long, I really appreciate it. And I hope that you'll come back for the next one. I'll go over debt, what the plan is for that, as well as what the plan is for sinking funds. Um, and I hope that this was somewhat enjoyable. I hope my nervousness and my fumbling was fun for you, more fun for you than it was for me. Um, and I also, I want to be able to talk about some of my inspirations, some of my ladies that are out there. Um, some of them I just really like to look at their nails. My nails were doing really good and they were growing out, and then they all got super weak and broke, and I had to start from scratch. So here they are. Look at this empty finger. I'm just going to show you that. I think we're going to do that like a TikTok trend where every time we have a video, I'm going to be like, nope, nope. But we'll see how that goes. Um, but again, if you stuck through all this whole thing, thank you. And I hope that you come back for another one. Um, I'd like to make this a regular thing and would love to have you here for the support. And let me know whatever I can do to support you. And I wish you peace, love, and prayers, however you choose to receive those. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.